An MLS showdown in the desert. Get ready for a night of top-tier soccer as Phoenix Rising hosts Major League Soccer's Houston Dynamo for the first time ever, Wednesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. It's a round of 32 clash in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and tickets start at just $9. The first 2,000 fans from the gates will score a limited edition Phoenix Rising t-shirt, and the night features fan-favorite drink specials throughout the stadium. It's more than a match. It's a moment. Bring the noise. Bring your jersey. Bring a friend or five. Get your tickets now at phxrisingfc.com.
Hi, Luis Gonzalez here. Want to bet? Feel the thrill of Casino Arizona with 1,400 of the hottest slots and nonstop table game action. We make winners, no experience necessary. Join us for the best bingo in the valley with daily sessions. Indulge in all-you-can-eat Eagles Buffet or enjoy fine dining experience at the award-winning Choyo Steakhouse. Enjoy top-notch local entertainment, tribute bands, and viewing parties at CAZ Sports Bar, just off the 101 in McKellips. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona.
Are you tired of seeing rust stains in your sinks? Call Culligan. Or scrubbing hard water scale buildup from your fixtures. Call Culligan. We can customize whole home solutions to address common water worries found in Phoenix. And now, for a limited time, you can get better water at every tap in your home for $0 down, no payments, and no interest for 6 months. Problem water is no problem for Culligan. Contact your local water expert today. Contaminants may not be in your water. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for details.
At Shane Company, we love a spring engagement. But you might be wondering, how do I find the perfect engagement ring? As a trusted family jeweler since 1929, we get asked this a lot. We have a wide selection of ring settings, like vintage designs with romantic details, floral settings inspired by nature, and classic styles with clean lines and sleek metals. Dreaming of the most beautiful diamond you've ever seen? At Shane Company, we handpick only the sparkliest center stones in all shapes and sizes, from oval to round to marquise, and more. We have gorgeous natural and lab-grown diamonds at competitive prices, in-store, ready to compare side by side. Drawn to certain colors? We're known for our rainbow of vivid natural sapphires, including shades of blue, straight out of a fairy tale, handpicked by our owner, Tom Shane. At Shane Company, we have the best free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, plus resizing, repairs, and cleanings for life. Visit us at shaneco.com or in store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Save on quality treats and eats during our Mother's Day event at Whole Foods Market. Discover only the best for mom with deals on flowers, candles, brunch favorites, decadent desserts, and more through May 11th. Shop in-store or online today.
M1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
I'll tell you what, woke up today and felt like today was going to be an excellent show. I had just this feeling in my bones when I walked into the building today, when we got done with the morning meeting, that this was going to be an all-time top 5 lunch break show of all time. Why? Because it feels like the show today has something that it was missing recently, that we added an extra element to the program, that we found that secret sauce that was missing. And you know what that secret sauce was?
The alignment.
And that is where we will start today's program.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Listen, we're just
the alignment.
We're just aligned better as a program today. Yesterday, didn't have it. Today,
the alignment.
We're good. We are back, aligned, all on the same page. And that's why I think today's edition, the Wednesday edition of the lunch break, is going to be the best one of the week. All-time top 5 show. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the Wednesday edition of the show. We'll get right into things. Brian Gregory introduced as the new GM of the Phoenix Suns. We heard a lot from the new GM of the Phoenix Suns, but one thing we heard,
the alignment.
Very important.
The alignment.
This organization is going to be refocused. They're going to have a better
the alignment.
And they're going to have a new identity. I've heard press conferences like the one we heard yesterday. Do you want to know where I've heard press conferences like the one we heard yesterday? Because I've been in those spots. I have been in meetings. There are probably some people out there that think I do this on this program on a regular basis. because Brian Gregory yesterday sounded like somebody who was part of a group project but didn't do any of the work and had to be a part of the presentation. Brian Gregory sounded yesterday like somebody in college needing to write a 250-word post on their forms for their political science class. And they're just throwing in all the key buzzwords.
The alignment.
To get to that 250-word limit that you need to get to in order for the assignment to count. Early on in my radio days, there were segments where I got done, the red light turned off, and I said, what did I just say? Did I make sense for those 10, 12 minutes? I'm sure there are some of you out there that think I do that on a regular basis as it is. That's the overall sentiment that I got yesterday listening to that press conference. I mean, I take that back. That was not the overwhelming sentiment. The overwhelming sentiment,
the alignment,
is the alignment that is going to come to the Phoenix Suns basketball team. Like a chiropractor coming in to fix everybody.
The alignment.
That is what the Phoenix Suns are going to be focusing on.
Yesterday, in a 32-minute press conference, all told, Brian Gregory said the word alignment or aligned 26 times.
So that's what you were working on. So just to let everybody in on a little secret, we both listened to the press conference yesterday. This morning, we decided to go back and listen to it again with a little bit more of a critical lens. We took notes. We'll share our thoughts on this press conference throughout the course of the program today. And so I did not have that in my notes. I was not keeping tally of how many times.
I was just going to check every time he said it.
So 26 plus times. Yeah, it was a theme. And it was a theme. And the reason why
the alignment,
we're having fun with it today is because I think having fun with it is the only way to feel positive from yesterday. Truthfully, I think having fun,
the alignment,
having the drops ready to go is the only way to feel better about what we heard yesterday. Because when we left the program, the message that I had for all of you was, you're not going to feel better after this press conference. The words that Brian Gregory says to all of us are not going to change how we feel. Wasn't going to change how I felt. The best case scenario out of yesterday was Brian Gregory got up there. He followed a similar approach to Matt Ishbia, said all of the right things, didn't stick his foot in his mouth, and you left that press conference feeling, okay, now I got to see it. You were never going to leave yesterday's press conference feeling better about things. The best case scenario is you were going to feel the same about things. Unfortunately, we didn't see the best case scenario yesterday. What we saw was a nightmare. What we saw was somebody who was nervous, somebody who was unqualified, somebody who was sitting in a chair that they have never sat in before, and they didn't know the answers. You could feel it from the moment that he started talking about
the alignment.
And it became the recurring theme throughout the course of the press conference. He was all over the place. He looked like somebody who didn't know what he was doing. He sounded like, I used this example at the top, somebody that was part of a group project that didn't do any of the work and needed to present it. He sounded like somebody that needed to speak for an owner because he was been put into this GM position as a placeholder, as a figurehead. But really, Matt Ishbia is the one running things. That is the overwhelming sentiment I took away from yesterday. I texted you because I didn't watch it live. I drove home, sat down, relaxed, and I watched it. Within 5 minutes, I texted you, and I said, oh my gosh, he has no idea what he's doing. Oh my gosh, this is the worst message that you can be sending. Not so much in the words, but in the delivery. The delivery felt like somebody that was nervous. Is this the guy that's going to be able to navigate the muddy waters of a Kevin Durant trade? Is this the guy that's going to navigate the muddy waters of Bradley Beal and what to do with his future? We'll get to all the things he said. We'll get to the substance outside of
the alignment.
We'll get to that. But the message yesterday, the optics yesterday, confirmed all of our worst fears. Everybody's worst fears going into yesterday were that this was just somebody that Matt Ishbia hired because he's comfortable with him, because he knows him, because he doesn't have any experience. And by the way, one of the worst answers that Brian Gregory had yesterday was when questioned about his experience. I think I have the quote here somewhere. He talked about his 30 years of basketball experience. The knowledge and experience puts me in a good position to be successful in this role. And then he talked about the thing that will separate him is creating that identity and alignment. That's a non-answer. That answer isn't good enough. You've been a coach for 30 plus years. You have been in basketball for 30 plus years at the college level. You spent the last 2 years with the Suns. I got it. I can look your resume up on Wikipedia. In that moment, you got to sell yourself. You have to sell yourself to all of us of why this is a good decision. And I don't think he did that yesterday. We talk about winning the press conference, losing the press conference. It's not about that. I feel less confident. And my confidence meter was towards the bottom yesterday. My confidence is less than it was 2 days ago because that press conference confirmed every single one of our worst fears.
Confirmed and then raised more questions. I can't believe how poorly yesterday went as a press conference. And I feel, I've said this before, multiple times on the show, I feel bad for Brian Gregory. He has been put into a position that he does not and is not qualified for and has never done before. He is a coach, and he was uncomfortable the entire press conference. Not that I'm a body language expert, but you and I talked about it. There was only one answer that he was sitting back in his chair, more comfortable, not upright for, and that was a complete coach's question.
You mentioned feeling bad for him. I thought he came off at times extremely personable. He came off extremely likable. I'm here to tell you, even after that press conference yesterday and the frustration, the concern that I have, I will tell you this, I am rooting for Brian Gregory, the person. I am rooting for him to thrive in this role because if he does not thrive in this role, it's going to be a long time before we get to discuss, watch, enjoy winning Suns basketball. I am rooting for Brian Gregory, but he has to show me. And yesterday was his first attempt at a sales pitch. And what did we get out of it?
The alignment.
We got drops that we're going to play on this show. We already talked about in the morning meeting that every time the Suns win next season,
the alignment.
They're aligned. They are ready to go. They played their best brand of basketball. But our takeaway is not that it was a good sales pitch. Our takeaway is not that Brian Gregory won the press conference, that he sold us on a vision. Instead, we're left with more questions. And you mentioned the one question where his body language, and again, not a body language expert, but I noticed it when watching the press conference back again today. He was asked a question about, you see exactly what the question was about. He was asked about his, how he wants to build this team, right? And he was asked how he wants to emulate the Phoenix Suns. Like what team he wants to use to emulate. I thought it was his best answer because he listed off all of these things: grittiness, toughness. And the reason why he was able to answer that question and the reason why he was able to feel comfortable is because it was a coach's question. It was a coach's question. That was his best answer, who he was emulating the team after. He mentioned Michigan State. He talked about how people say there's an NBA thing and there's an NBA way, there's a college way. He talked about it being the right way. I thought that was one of his better answers. It came 25 minutes in to the whole ordeal after what I could only describe as the train wreck of the beginning, where
the alignment.
I took that drop, him saying
the alignment
is from the first 5 minutes of the press conference. I could have taken him saying that 25 other times, according to producer Evan and the math that he ran. Brian Gregory yesterday did not sell us on a vision. He tried to. He talked about identity. He talked about the qualities that he wants in the next head coach. He talked about not being the same as everybody else. There were sprinkles involved in all of this of somebody that could say the right things. But talking about alignment, and by the way, my frustration with using that word is by relying on that word and emphasizing that word the way that they did, Brian Gregory is telling me that last year this team was not aligned. And so your answer to not being aligned was to promote somebody who was there last year, the last 2 years when you weren't aligned. It just doesn't make sense. It was word soup yesterday. Brian Gregory played word soup. Why? Because he's never been in that chair before. He doesn't have all the answers. This is a tough situation to draw into. And he's a coach. He's not a GM. He's not an executive. He actually explained what his role was as the VP of player programming, and it made sense. He worked with the rookies. He worked with the rookies and the two-way players in their transition into the NBA level. He worked with the amateur scouting department. That's where a coach's role can be felt. Somebody who's coached at the college level. I'm not surprised that that's part of the job description. But now he's adding a whole lot more to his plate. And yesterday, if you were just looking at yesterday and you had to determine based on the way he answered these questions, with the way that he handled himself in this media press conference, if you had to say, do we think he can do this job or he cannot do this job? Do we think he is able to be successful or if he's going to fail? Just based off of yesterday, I don't know how the only conclusion you come to is that he will fail in this role. I'm rooting for him. I want to be wrong on this. But just based on what we heard yesterday, he just seems very unqualified for this role.
Feels like a placeholder. You said it earlier in the show. He feels like this is a weird transition time, and the owner is in a spot where he really doesn't know what he's doing. And now he hires one of his buddies and a guy he is very comfortable with. And so Brian Gregory has to step up and take this general manager role in a position he, let's face it, isn't ready for. If VP of player programming was his role and he talked about his role and what it means and what he did, then move him to a head scout position, to a more draft-focused position. But the idea that he's going to make trades and advance this roster at a time where it has been a complete failure of a season, and you have to trade Kevin Durant and move on from Bradley Beal, and we'll get into more of that later. But this is not the guy for this offseason.
It was you only get one chance to make a first impression. And everybody walked into yesterday, and I mean everybody, walked into yesterday already skeptical of this hire, already skeptical of Brian Gregory being in this role. And I think yesterday, it didn't tame the skepticism. It didn't turn the skepticism into optimism. To me, yesterday confirmed all of that skepticism, and I think made that skepticism grow. I think there are people that are more concerned yesterday. I'm more concerned today than I was yesterday. Just looked like somebody who has never sat in that chair before. Now, listen, I'm going to tug at the producer of this program's heartstrings a little bit. Nick Sirianni went up there as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles and, let's face it, embarrassed himself in that first press conference. He's the defending holder of the Lombardi Trophy.
Embarrassing. It was the hardest press conference I've ever had to watch. And to be honest with you, that is why I try not to take too much with some of these press conferences. But to play the other side of that, to play devil's advocate, Chris, he was an offensive coordinator in the NFL for the Colts.
Correct.
And so like he coached a team. And, you know, that progression has been a progression through the history of the league. I mean, this is a coach who got a job as a VP of player programming who before yesterday, and he explained what it was, we had no idea, and is now the general manager. The steps are off.
But this press conference is not going to make or break his career.
No.
It's a bad first impression. He can never undo it, right? He left a bad first impression with me. Not to say he didn't try. I think he was trying. I think he tried to say all the right things. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's personable. I think he related. I love the way he handled the media. There were good things from yesterday. It was not all bad. But when it came to the substance, right? We talk about substance and sizzle the other day with the NFL draft. The substance I didn't love. And sometimes the sizzle didn't work for me. But that is not going to determine whether or not he succeeds or fails as a GM. What he does this summer with the roster, what he does over the next couple of years with this roster, that is going to determine whether or not we look back at this press conference and say, that's where the warning sign showed and we should have put more stock into it. Or if we're just going to laugh at it as a footnote of, oh yeah, hey, he just had a bad first day, was new to the role, was nervous, and he ends up being a really good executive and turns this team around, right? Everybody in Philadelphia is laughing at what Nick Sirianni did in his first press conference because they're hosting up the Lombardi Trophy. It's what you do after this that is going to determine, is that something that we look back on as a warning sign, or do we look back on it as a footnote, a non-story, and we can poke fun at it?
The alignment.
The way that we are trying to today here on the show. Now, there were some things that he said that had me concerned about some of those moves he's going to make. Trust me, we will get to that throughout the course of the program. 480-864-1060 if you want to weigh in here today on Brian Gregory, on the Diamondbacks, who we'll get to here in a little bit. But also, that's the phone number you're going to need for Friday. Take Friday. We're going to open it up. Show's going to be yours on Friday all throughout the course of the show. We're going to take your takes on the air, and the best one, you're going to get a $50 gift card to Von Hansen's. But you got to bring it. Producer Evan and I are going to judge these takes. So you have all week. You want to practice here over the next couple of days. You can get in now. You can practice those takes. You can get ready for Friday. And then we'll do that on Friday's edition of the show. When we come back, it was the dominant performance that we asked for. Talk about the Diamondbacks next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event. Up to 50% off, plus free home delivery. Limited time. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
When it comes to your electric bill, saving energy means saving money. That's why SRP offers many ways to help you cut costs and boost comfort. From rebates and discounts that can save you thousands of dollars, to expert insights that can help make your home more energy efficient. SRP has tools and programs that give you many ways to save. Explore your options today at srp.net/savings. That's srp.net/savings.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Here is a question for you. Did the Knicks win game 1 of their playoff series with Boston, or did the Celtics choke it away? As always, the answer is yes. Sure, Jalen Brunson was doing Jalen Brunson things. Mikal Bridges came up huge late. So yes, the Knicks did rip game 1 and the home court advantage. But make no mistake, the Celtics choked this one away by blowing a 20-point third-quarter lead, by settling for three-point brick after brick. They took a record-setting 63-pointers in this game. I get it. It's who they are. It's what they do. I've got no problem with them jacking it up 60 times unless they only make 15 of them. Then I've got a huge problem with it. That is the literal definition of shooting yourself out of a game. If you can't make a shot, and they couldn't, then get to the rack. Get to the free throw line. You do know that baskets made inside the arc and at the free throw line also count, right? Defending world champs, wake up. I'm Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Get the full exterior car care experience with the Pro X1 Car Care Collection Wash Kit, only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. The kit includes all-wheel tire and cleaner, glass cleaner, snow foam car wash, and a microfiber wash mitt. Get the essentials in one box for just $19.99. Choose Pro X1 exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more, this doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot, but you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KTUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I love the diehards of this program. I love the people who take 2-hour lunch breaks with us every single day. But John, over on the YouTube stream, that's one way you can listen to us, KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. You can watch us now on Twitter. Got the video version up there on Twitter.
Big changes.
You can stream. I see what you did there, big changes. You can stream the program via the KDUS AM 1060 app, or you can listen via the traditional methods. And we love to hear from you on the show. And we said that we're doing this new thing on Fridays. We're going to do Take Fridays. We'll see how it goes. And so John on the YouTube goes, doing takes, ? Is that a way to drum up phone calls with a laughing emoji? John, you are what we call in the biz a P1, okay? You are here every single day. You hang out with us for 2 hours. But you know what you aren't right now? You know what you aren't with the program?
The alignment.
You are not aligned with the show today. You don't say that part out loud, okay? We just want interactivity here on the program. And we have our giveaway that we do on Fridays. We're trying to tie the two things together, but you don't have to say drum up phone calls like you're throwing us under the bus.
The alignment.
You're not aligned with the show. You know who is aligned with the show? Who may not be after this email? Paul, who emailed in during the break and said, I feel very confident in saying the Suns won't be competing for the title in the next 5 years, at least. Being a Lakers fan means the Suns are one less team to worry about. Paul, I may not take your emails anymore. You're a Lakers fan. You're not a Diamondbacks fan. You're a Dodgers fan. And all you do is email into the show, and you just love to dunk on all of us.
The alignment.
You're not aligned. Again, another person who's not aligned with the program. You know who is aligned with the program? Michael's aligned with the program. Aligned with the show. These are our P1s. John, not aligned. Paul, not aligned right now. And listen, if you want a place here in the future of this program,
the alignment.
You need to get aligned, okay? You need to be Brian Gregory. You need to get aligned with the program. You know who was aligned last night? Zac Gallen and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yesterday, we asked for the rotation of this team to step up, to be the strength that they are supposed to be the leaders of this program, the leaders of this team. They are the strength of the Diamondbacks. And last night, Zac Gallen delivered on that strength. He was an ace yesterday. 7 innings, 1 run, the 6 strikeouts, worked around the trouble that he caused himself in the third, only allowed the 1 run to score. He loaded the bases with 2 outs. Got the first 2 out. He got the first 2 outs pretty easily. The Mets made a challenge on a double play ball that extended the inning. And then the Mets put a little rally together. And then Zac Gallen allowed just 1 run to cross. And then after that, it was cruise control. He had a quick 4th inning, 1-2-3 inning, a quick 5th inning, 1-2-3, a quick 6th inning, 1-2-3. He was dominant. He has been dominant against the New York teams this season. That second start against the Yankees where he absolutely had them fooled. And last night, he had the Mets fooled once again, just like he did last week. That was the performance that we needed to see from Zac Gallen, from this team. How about Lourdes Gurriel falling a triple short of the cycle last night? Good to see him have a big day at the plate. Went 3 for 4 with the big home run. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm watching this game, and I'm watching Gallen dominate, and he's getting into the later stages of the game. He gets out of that jam in the 3rd inning. It's a 2-1 lead that they're holding on to. And 5th inning rolls around. 6th inning rolls around. And I'm thinking to myself, this bullpen, are they going to be able to hold on to a 1-run lead? I'm watching this game and I'm thinking to myself, man, Zach's pitching so great, he may have to pitch all 9 innings. That's where I'm at personally with this bullpen. I'm watching the game and I'm seeing the score 2-1, and I'm just expecting somebody to walk out of the bullpen and struggle. I'm expecting them to give up the lead. They're just not operating at full capacity right now. They're trying to find themselves. They don't have A.J. Puck. They don't have Justin Martinez. It puts Torey Lovello in a very uncomfortable situation where he's got to make Shelby Miller his closer. We'll talk about Shelby a little bit later on in the program. And he's just moving guys around into different roles. They're shuffling guys up and down from Reno to try to get some level of stability out there in the bullpen. But what can give your bullpen the most stability is what Zac Gallen did last night. Because I think, ideally, that's what it looks like on a regular basis. 7 innings from your starter, Kevin Ginkel, Shelby Miller. That's it. That's the ideal setup. 7 innings. I got my 8th inning guy, my 9th inning guy. We're done. We're good. Victory. Even at 5-1, I was still a little nervous. And the Mets put some traffic on the base paths there in the 9th inning to make you start to wonder if Shelby Miller was going to give it up again like he did in Philadelphia on Sunday. So there is no lead right now that I'm comfortable with watching this team. I don't think any lead is safe right now. They got it done last night. It did not become a problem. But until they get Martinez back, until they get A.J. Puck back, I think this is our future. Our future is looking at the scoreboard and wondering, is that a big enough lead? Is 3 runs a big enough lead? Is 2 runs a big enough lead?
Even when they scored 2 in the 6th to make it 4-1,
you're still like, I don't know.
Can I get 8? Yeah. Can I get 8 innings?
Can we get 2 more runs? I feel better at 6-1 because 4-1. I've watched this movie before. I've seen this script play out.
It was they did a nice job, but it's one of those things right now. You're watching them, there's zero confidence.
And that's not going to go away, right?
No.
That will not go away until either there's a big enough sample size of these guys doing it. And listen, we're going to talk about Shelby Miller in hour number 2. He blew a save on Sunday. So it's recently that we've seen things fall apart. So you got to undo that and then go on a run where I've got a big enough sample size of you not blowing these leads, or you have to get Puck and Martinez back, and then I think there'll be that sigh of relief of, oh, okay, everything's back in its normal place. But right now, I think every single night, the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings are going to be, get your popcorn, you're going to be on the edge of your seat. It is going to be a roller coaster ride, because even at 5-1 last night, I don't think you truly felt comfortable. And then in the 9th inning, you see that the Mets get within one batter of having the tying run at the plate in a 4-run game. That quickly, things can turn upside down. And so this is the way it's going to be. You just need to prepare yourselves accordingly. And by the way, it did not matter in last night's game, but Josh Naylor made another weird play last night. Brandon Nimmo hits a ball right to him at first base that he lets go foul. Was very confused by that. Just pick up the ball and take the free out. It's a free out.
Pick it up. Take it to first. It's a free out.
First, just stand up and tag Brandon Nimmo. If a run scores, it's 5-2. I will trade 1 run for 1 out, Josh. Because you're letting it go foul because you don't want the run to score and you want to set up the double play.
You're up 4 in the 9th.
I would gladly in that spot trade the Mets' 2nd run for me to have 2 outs and be 1 out of having a win in my back pocket. So it's back-to-back days of blunders. I said to you in the morning meeting, I wondered if he was going to play today.
He is in the lineup.
Base running blunder 2 days ago. That weird. Now, last night it didn't impact them. It didn't cost them. But boy, that was just a weird play, an odd play. It was back-to-back days of some weird plays from Josh Naylor. I thought maybe they would sit him down for that. They didn't. He's in the lineup today. They 12:40 start today for a little day baseball for us all to enjoy a little bit later on here. So we'll get you ready for that here in hour number 2 of the program. But Zac Gallen, excellent last night in a spot where they needed it, and he looked every bit like the ace that we know he can be, and that he has been against all the New York teams. He did it against the Yankees the 2nd start of the year. He did it last week against the Mets, and he did it again here today. Just an excellent, excellent start for him, and hopefully that gets the ball rolling for him, because his last 2 starts out, 13 innings, only 2 runs allowed, 14 strikeouts. Now, he has allowed the 6 walks. That is a concern. He worked around them last night, but over his last 2 starts, albeit against the same team, he has been excellent in these last 2 outings. And so hopefully there is a bit of momentum that he can start to build off of these 2 recent performances. There was a wide receiver trade in the NFL today. Could there still be hope that the Cardinals make an addition to their wide receiver room? We'll talk about it next. A lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring me the horizon. USA Ascension Program Part 1.
Every sky will build, my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring me the horizon. Presented by the Big Red Radio.
Every day, savings, energy efficiency, rebates. Every day at APS, you have ways to save energy and money. We know how important it is to keep your bill as low as possible. That's why we offer programs to help you manage your energy use. Schedule a home energy checkup for savings recommendations tailored to your home. Find rebates on smart thermostats. Compare your rate plan options and switch to the plan that would have saved you the most money. Find ways to save at aps.com/brighter.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
Stars are shining down on Goldberg and Osborne. The Eagle has more than 2,200 5-star Google reviews from across Arizona, like these.
They go that extra mile to let you know they care. A wonderful experience.
They treat their clients like family, and their professionalism is the best in the business.
They made sure I got a great offer. Like a bulldog, they fought for me.
Well said, everyone. After any accident, remember, the bird is the word. Visit Goldberg and Osborne at 1-800-THE-EAGLE.com.
It starts with a simple order. A cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
I'm sure everyone says this, but my mom really deserves the world. This year, I finally found a Mother's Day gift that comes close. She loves Hellsberg, so I'm getting her these timeless gold earrings she can enjoy for years to come. They feel special enough to show how much I truly appreciate everything she does for me. And I mean everything. I even sent my dad a link to the Diamond Eternity band he'll be getting her, too.
Save up to 50% on Mother's Day gifts Mom will cherish forever. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hey, if you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, you can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Colorado Rockies Saturday, May 17th at Chase Field. And if you get there early, you can pick up the replica home jersey at the game on Saturday, May 17th. And stick around after the game for an awesome post-game fireworks show. You can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets on the app, or you can get your tickets at dbacks.com/SGT. There was a trade this morning, early morning trade in the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys landing George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dallas gave up a 2026 third-round pick. They gave up a 2027 fifth-round pick, and they got back George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round selection in order to land them a number 2 wide receiver to pair with CeeDee Lamb. So there is some activity on the wide receiver front. George Pickens on the move. Gabe Davis was released today by the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he hits the open market. And so perhaps it's wishful thinking on my part, holding out hope that the Cardinals find a way to make a upgrade to their wide receiver room. But I'm not the only one who thinks this. I'm not alone in this opinion that there could be a fit for the Cardinals getting a number 2 wide receiver. Yesterday, a story on NFL.com, best NFL team fits for notable remaining free agents. And they had, for the Arizona Cardinals, wide receiver Keenan Allen. Quote, There are plenty of teams who need veteran help at wide receiver, but Allen fits in Arizona because the Cardinals must unlock all the potential in Marvin Harrison Jr., who was the 4th overall pick in last year's draft. Arizona leaned on young players like Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch to work with Harrison at receiver in 2024. That's not going to get it done, not for a team that displayed flashes of being closer to a playoff team than anybody imagined at this time last year, end quote. This is what I have been talking about all offseason, that there is an opportunity here for the Cardinals to leave no doubt in their wide receiver room. Keenan Allen, if you brought him in, Gabe Davis, if you brought him in, if you made a trade for somebody that I'm not thinking about right now, you're not bringing that person in to be direct competition for Marvin Harrison Jr. The player, the receiver that you're bringing in, you're not getting a true number 1 wide receiver. I don't know if you're truly getting a number 2 wide receiver. Is Keenan Allen still a number 2 wide receiver?
No.
He had 70 catches last year for 744 yards and 7 touchdowns.
And I like Keenan Allen, and I think he would fit this team pretty well. I just don't think he's a 2. He's getting older.
So
it happens.
He's not a 1. We're not sure if he's really a 2. He's not going to take away from Marvin Harrison Jr.'s snaps. He's not going to take away from his targets. He is going to be a complementary piece that, if deployed correctly, is only going to continue to allow Marvin Harrison Jr. to thrive, to grow, to develop, to emerge in year 2. Nobody that you're bringing in is competition. You bring in Gabe Davis. That's not competition for wide receiver 1 targets. Again, maybe Gabe Davis is a low-end wide receiver 2. There isn't a threat to Marvin Harrison Jr. being the lion's share of the targets in that wide receiver room. But bringing in somebody to complement him might make him have more targets, might give him more opportunities, might allow him to be more wide open in this offense. Because teams are going to have to respect Keenan Allen. Even though he's not a 1 anymore, even though we're not sure if he's a 2, he's still a darn good receiver. He is still a receiver that defenses have to respect. He is still a receiver that defenses have to game plan for. And that's what the Cardinals, I think, are missing alongside Marvin Harrison Jr.
And he's a veteran who can help Marvin grow.
He checks every box. So I'm not surprised that people are making this connection. Now, is it a report saying that they're interested? Is it a report saying that they're bringing him in? No, it's none of that. But it's somebody that's looking at the free agency landscape and saying, I think this team needs this and this is a good fit. It's what we've been saying all offseason long. You mentioned Amari Cooper a couple of weeks ago. I'm more on the fence with Amari Cooper. I'm not, you and I.
The alignment.
We're not aligned there.
Well, I just think Cooper, I would say, has had, and I know last year, I know what everybody's going to say.
Was not a good year. Got traded from a bad team to a good team, and the numbers got worse.
In Buffalo.
Was not good there.
But I don't know. He's had more successful seasons recently, I would bet. I haven't looked at the numbers at all. I'm just saying that I think he's been more productive over the last 3 seasons than probably Keenan Allen.
Over the last 3 seasons, you think Keenan Allen is less productive than Amari Cooper?
I would bet that.
You how about this? You look up Amari Cooper's numbers, and I'll punch into my little tablet here, and I'll get Keenan Allen's numbers over the last 3 years, and we can compare. Because I think that's a fair question to ask. Who's been more relevant over the last couple of seasons? But either way, even though I'm not sold on Amari Cooper as an option, I wouldn't say no if they signed him. I wouldn't say it was a bad signing. I would understand. They need somebody else. They need a veteran presence in the room. So I have Keenan Allen's last 3 seasons.
Okay.
I have his year in Chicago and his year in, and I'm clicking buttons.
Give me last 3 healthy seasons. I'll let you get that.
What do you define as a healthy season?
You have to play at least 14 games.
He has to play at least 14 games. So that's last year where he had, hold on. The tablet's going haywire on me. The last year where he had the 70 catches, the 744 yards, and the 7 touchdowns. He played 13 games the year prior. Do you want to count that?
Yeah, count that.
He was a Pro Bowler, so
yeah.
He had 108. He had 108 catches, 1,243 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So nearly 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns, and nearly 200 catches in 2 seasons. Then you go back to 2021. He was a Pro Bowler, played in all 16 games. He had 1,100 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. So he had close to 4,000 yards, 3,100 yards, if I'm doing this math correctly. He had 20 touchdowns.
Okay.
Those are decent numbers.
It's close.
Okay.
Amari Cooper in 2022 in Cleveland had 1160 and 9.
Yep.
On 78 grabs. And then 2023 in Cleveland had 1250 and 5 on 72 grabs. He was a Pro Bowler that 2023 season.
Yeah, he was really good.
And then in 2023, last year, he had 547 on 44 grabs and 4 touchdowns. Listen, the numbers are bad in Buffalo. He played 8 games and only had 297 yards.
And not only that, he was a ghost in the playoffs.
He was a ghost.
Didn't even know he was out there. Like, just what was not helpful at all.
But that Buffalo team, like, they were committed to running the ball.
Oh, you're starting to sound like the people up in Buffalo who are not happy with Brandon Beane for not getting a wide receiver.
By the way, I think that was the adjustment they needed to make. You go back 2 years ago, they couldn't run the ball at all. That's why they lost in the playoffs. And pendulum swings the other way.
They lost this year in the playoffs too, even though they ran the ball.
Because now they couldn't do the other one, right?
Yeah.
So it happens.
This is a really important year for them. Not the sidebar about Buffalo, but this is a really important year for them as a team.
And we don't need to talk about the Bills, but yes.
Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Gabe Davis, who just became available. I think all 3 at the right price. And at this stage of free agency, they're all going to be at a relatively good price, would help this team. They would not harm this team. They would be a benefit to this team. They would be a benefit to this offense. They would be a benefit to Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think if you added somebody out of that bucket, if you signed one of those 3 guys at this stage to add to this room, I think you would be at a place. I would feel comfortable saying, I'm almost there anyway. I would feel comfortable saying there are no excuses for this team to miss the playoffs next season. And if they do, it is probably going to be the final indictment on the quarterback. It is going to be all on his shoulders. Because if you added Amari Cooper, if you added Keenan Allen, if you added Gabe Davis to a team that already has Marv, that already has Trey McBride, that has young players like Michael Wilson, that has James Conner and Trey Benson, and has this defense that you've overhauled in one offseason, if it has all of that and it still makes the playoffs, my guess, if you asked me to predict why that would have happened, because the quarterback couldn't execute. So you add another wide receiver, there are 0 excuses. There may be 0 excuses right now, but I think if you add another wide receiver, there's not even an argument that there's an excuse built in to the way this roster has been put together. So I'm still holding out hope. I am holding out hope that at some point the Cardinals and I can get aligned and another wide receiver can be in this building. Speaking of that, if there's one thing we learned from yesterday for sure, the Phoenix Suns, they're going to be aligned. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince Delisio from the Varsity Sports Show. This week is our annual show in honor of all moms out there. Tune in as our team introduces you to their moms. And we also bid farewell to this semester's talented group of interns. It's the Varsity Sports Show Mother's Day special, Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a loaded cash explosion. It happens every time someone wins loaded cash explosion scratchers from the Arizona Lottery. Oh, it's happening again. Since tickets are loaded with $1,000 prizes with explosive top prizes of $2.5 million. Plus, a second chance to win $1 million in the Players Club. Head to an Arizona Lottery retailer and play loaded cash explosion scratchers today.
Hello, this is Jan at Toyota.
Hi, Jen. Is now a good time to get a new Toyota for summer?
It is. We like to say your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer.
Yeah, I'm a pet sitter and business is way up as people enjoy their new Toyotas.
Your summer starts here.
Oh, that's the Walker's pet parrot, Mr. Knowles.
That's me.
They packed up their new Corolla and took a trip to a national park.
Well, through June 2nd, everyone can join in on the summer fun with a great selection of Camrys, 4Runners, and more.
Yeah, the Johnsons strapped a canoe onto their new Grand Highlander and went out to the lake.
Shh, quiet, Lou.
And Mark and Sarah loaded their gear into their Tundra and went scuba diving.
Oh, no, stop. Sebastian, Goldie is not dinner. Fish for dinner. No, stop. This is bad.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Good luck.
Your summer starts here.
That's right, Mr. Knowles. Summer starts here at your Toyota dealer with a new Toyota, but it all ends June 2nd. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details.
Toyota, let's go places.
Join ASU Baseball right here on KDUS AM 1060. Starting this Friday, the next opponent in the Sun Devils' sights is the University of Houston. As the end of the regular season approaches, ASU knows that every win counts, and they look to give it their all against the Cougars. The voice of the Sun Devils, Tim Healy, will have the call live. It's ASU versus the University of Houston this Friday. Pregame at 6:15 p.m. and first pitch at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com/Sun Devils.
Brian Gregory yesterday in his introductory press conference as the new general manager of the Phoenix Suns did not shy away from his relationship with Matt Ishbia. In fact, he embraced his relationship with Matt Ishbia. I think I have one of the quotes written down here. Matt and I are a team. We are completely aligned. There you go.
The alignment.
I mean, if there was a drinking game every time
the alignment
was said during the presser yesterday, I mean, we could every cut we could have taken from this press conference would have had
the alignment
in it. Matt and I are a team. We are completely aligned. He then added, Matt is an owner that is involved, and I like that. Quote, he's empowered me to build this team. He then said he's never going to shy away, that one of the reasons that he is up there on that podium answering those questions in this role is because of his relationship with Matt Ishbia. And so if you were concerned going into yesterday that this was just a hire for somebody because of a previous relationship, that it was Matt Ishbia looking for a yes man, Brian Gregory, I don't think, did anything yesterday to sway you that that isn't the case. He enforced that Matt Ishbia is an owner that is involved. But remember, James Jones and Josh Bartelstein told us he's not involved. He doesn't meddle. The new GM, Brian Gregory, said, oh, yeah, he's involved. And I like that. You know who doesn't like that? I don't like that. I'm sure many of you don't like that. You get concerned because this owner has been involved in the past. This owner got involved and traded all of that for Kevin Durant. This is an owner that got involved and helped facilitate the trade for Bradley Beal. This owner got involved and has gone through all of these coaches to where it is a fourth coach in 4 years. Matt Ishbia has a right as the owner of this team to be involved. He has a right as the owner of this team to have his say be heard, and it is always going to be his decision, the final decision maker. But you have to truthfully empower the people below you. The best owners, the best leaders are the ones who build out the right team and they let them go out there and do their thing. Let's talk about a team in town that I think does a really good job at that. The Arizona Diamondbacks, I think, are excellent at this. Ken Kendrick provides as much support as he feels he can financially. He provides as much support as he can to Mike Hazen. But he hired Mike Hazen. He has empowered Mike Hazen. And I don't think anybody questions whether it's a Mike Hazen decision or it is a Ken Kendrick decision. In fact, one of the big decisions that they've made that has gone sideways over the last couple of seasons was their signing of Jordan Montgomery. And you know who took full responsibility for that? The owner of the team. He said, I brought it to Mike's attention. I said that I'd be comfortable doing this. I'm the one who pushed for this. It's on me. It's not on Mike. It's on me. That is empowering your people, backing your people up, putting your people in positions to succeed. You know what I worry about? I don't think Matt Ishbia is going to fully empower Brian Gregory because they are aligned.
The alignment.
They're aligned. They made sure to tell us that they were aligned. Now, alignment is a good thing. Making sure everybody is on the same page, that's important. It is important that everybody is rowing the boat in the same direction. I will give you that 100%. Because if you are not rowing the boat in the same direction, it's just going to spin around in circles by the dock. You're never going to actually get anywhere. You have to be
the alignment.
You have to be aligned as an organization. You have to have one vision, we use this phrase on the show all the time, a North Star that you're looking towards. Granted, I'll give you that. Yes, you have to have one unified vision. But guess what? You have given me more reason to think that this is going to be Matt Ishbia's vision. That it's going to be Matt Ishbia's wishes. And I'll tell you, I'm not sold on him as a basketball decision maker. To take it a step further, he was asked about Josh Bartlestein and what Josh's role was going to be. Gregory made sure to say that he was accountable for the day-to-day, but he said that Josh is involved in every single aspect of basketball operations. He didn't run from Matt Ishbia. He embraced Matt Ishbia. He didn't run from Josh Bartlestein as the CEO. He embraced Josh Bartlestein as the CEO. This all adds together in the soup that was that press conference yesterday to tell a story of this is still going to be what Matt Ishbia's vision for this team is. This isn't going to be a new, fresh voice. This isn't going to be somebody from the outside coming in and say, no, you've been doing it wrong this whole time. This is probably all of our worst fears. This may be a continuation of the same mistakes, the same thought processes that led to this team being in this spot in the first place.
This is, you said it. It feels like Brian Gregory could be a figurehead under what is a Matt Ishbia-led team.
Matt Ishbia is the GM, not Brian Gregory. That's the takeaway I had from yesterday.
And the press conference, it felt like that when he was hired.
Of course.
Because you have somebody from Michigan State and college coach, somebody that Matt Ishbia is comfortable with, all of those things. You're like, okay, well, let's watch the press conference. And you come out of the press conference with more of the belief that Matt Ishbia is just running the team. And I get it. He's the owner, but he's not the general manager too. And now it feels as if he is. And nothing has changed. And they knew they needed to make a change, quote unquote, in the front office because of how poorly things went and what it would look like to the fans. And so this is the move they made because they didn't want to make a move. They didn't feel like things were broken.
Not they, Matt. That's where I'll correct you. Matt Ishbia didn't want to completely change how he was doing things. He wanted somebody that he was comfortable with. Again, I would love to be proven wrong on this. I would love for this to work out and for all of our fears to be nothing more than noise. I welcome that. I welcome being wrong about this. But watching that press conference yesterday, it just reeked of a team that honestly, I don't think they know which direction they want to go in. They're trying to say the right things. They're trying to paint a picture of a vision. They're trying to paint a picture of an identity. And at times you could see it seep through, but it just feels more often than not, more times yesterday than not, it felt like an organization that is still trying to find themselves, an owner that is still trying to find himself. And in order for him to do that, he just went with somebody he's comfortable with, somebody that he knows, somebody that he's going to see eye to eye with so that he can try to figure this out. And I hope it works. I hope they're right. But I just did not get the sense yesterday. I didn't have a renewed optimism about this team yesterday. Somebody asked earlier, how many of our words did they hit? They didn't hit all of them. I heard culture. I heard gritty. He definitely said Michigan State. He said Michigan State and Spartans 2 separate times.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't talk about actions, not words. We threw that one in. That was me. That's on me. I'll take the L on that one. I'm surprised he didn't talk about somebody being a teacher. He talked about the qualities of his next head coach being an unbelievable basketball IQ, being a tremendous communicator, being able to hold the players accountable, sharing the same vision and alignment with the team. Those are all great things.
He did talk quite a bit about player development.
He did?
He did not use the word teacher.
Did not use the word teacher, unfortunately. That's a tough one for us.
But he did say player development. And he talked about some of the things that he had instilled in player development as the amateur guys and guys making the transition. And you would think that was an area he would use teachers.
Yeah,
but
he did not. He did not give us the space on the bingo card. Now, again, overall, I'm negative on yesterday's press conference, but I don't think it was start to finish. All 38 minutes of it was a disaster, right? I don't think it was a complete mess for all 38 minutes.
No,
there were pockets of things where I'm like, that's interesting, right? his answer about how he wants to emulate this team moving forward, who he looks at as an inspiration, a team franchise-wise. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was the most comfortable he was. I liked that he said not being the same as everybody else. I liked hearing that. That was a good thing to hear from the GM. There was just other stuff, and we're going to get into one of the big things that he said about the roster that just made me really, really concerned about what the rest of this summer
last thing I'll say
going to look like. Yes.
Is I did appreciate him saying that, listen, I understand my relationship with Matt is a reason I got this job. I appreciate him getting out in front
The
of that.
honesty is great, but I think he warmed up a little too much to Matt, I think, for some of us. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. He's had 3 appearances since becoming the unofficial closer of the team. Is he the right man for the job?
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
An MLS showdown in the desert. Get ready for a night of top-tier soccer as Phoenix Rising hosts Major League Soccer's Houston Dynamo for the first time ever, Wednesday, May 7th at 7 p.m. It's a round of 32 clash in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and tickets start at just $9. The first 2,000 fans from the gates will score a limited edition Phoenix Rising t-shirt, and the night features fan-favorite drink specials throughout the stadium. It's more than a match. It's a moment. Bring the noise. Bring your jersey. Bring a friend or 5. Get your tickets now at phxrisingfc.com.
Breaking Benjamin. Stay forever. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Homebuyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit andrewthehomebuyer.com.
Save on quality treats and eats during our Mother's Day event at Whole Foods Market. Discover only the best for mom with deals on flowers, candles, brunch favorites, decadent desserts, and more through May 11th. Shop in-store or online today.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Oh, I don't know, about 37 minutes from now, the Diamondbacks will get underway. Their series finale, their season series finale against the Mets. They're going to play all 6 of these games in like a week span, just be done. Won't see each other again potentially until the postseason. They're going to play all 6 of these games. And today it is Merrill Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks. Questions, I guess, about the hamstring and the cramping that's occurred his last couple times out, and if he has that under control, because that seems to be the only real stumbling block for Merrill Kelly right now is his hamstring has acted up 2 times recently. Chicago, when they had that game that was delayed a little bit because of the rain, he had some cramping that he had that took him out of that start. He had a hamstring cramping and an injury his last time out. So Hopefully they can put all of that behind them. He can put all of that in the rearview mirror, and he can get back to doing what he does best, which is go out there, take the ball every fifth day, and give the Diamondbacks a chance to win, taking the ball deep, 6+ innings. But it is the closer that I want to talk about here to start hour number 2 of the program. Because right now, the closer of this baseball team is not A.J. Puck. It's not Justin Martinez. It's not Kevin Ginkel. Right now, the closer, the unofficial closer, he has not officially been named the closer of this baseball team. But the unofficial closer of this team right now is Shelby Miller. And he has had 3 appearances since being moved into that role. He had last night's appearance against the Mets. He had an appearance in the series finale in Citi Field against the Mets. And he had that appearance on Sunday in Philadelphia. And so far, through 3 appearances, what is the ultimate example of a small sample size? 3 outings, 3 innings. I get it. But in those 3 innings, after unofficially being moved into that role, a mixed bag for Shelby Miller. Last night, not a save situation per se. Came into the game with a 5-1 lead, but some trouble on the base paths. Base runners on, needing to work out of trouble, being very close, flirting with the idea of the Mets getting the tying runner to the plate. But no harm, no foul. Shut it down. Diamondbacks win the game 5-1. His last time out against Philly, we all know how that ended. Blew the save after getting the first 2 outs in that game. And then had a clean inning, a clean affair in that first outing against the Mets. So great outing, blown save. Didn't allow any runs to cross last night, but a little scary. And listen, your closer has to be a guy who you don't worry about his command. You don't worry about him walking too many guys. You don't worry about him putting base runners on. Your closer is not always going to come into a clean spot. Your closer may come into a game where there's runners on and there's nobody to put a base runner. You need to have a closer who more often than not works cleanly, does not put traffic on the base paths, does not walk guys, does not get hit hard. Got to have stuff that plays, stuff that gets that swing and miss, because you're going to need that swing and miss. And I'm just not sure if Shelby Miller has the arsenal, if Shelby Miller has the pedigree to be able to thrive in this role. And I know it is a temporary measure right now for a team that is trying to just Band-Aid their way through a bullpen right now. I'm very aware of the limitations that this team has. They are moving guys up and down through Reno to try to find anybody that can stick, anybody that can help them put guys into designated buckets, into designated roles to let everybody be comfortable. And right now, they think Shelby Miller gives them the best chance in the 9th inning, and he has been their guy. And I know it's temporary. I know that once A.J. Puck and or Justin Martinez returns, that more than likely Shelby Miller will get slid out of that role, and whoever comes back will be inserted in as the closer. I get it. But the Diamondbacks can't afford to give away games right now. We've said that they are not good enough right now to overcome the little things. And the little things being coming into the game in the 9th inning and walking the leadoff guy. Coming into the game against Philly, getting the first 2 outs, and then having just a blow-up inning that allows the Phillies to extend the game and force it into extra innings. You're lucky that you were able to win that game on Sunday. You're lucky that that wasn't a sweep. And right now, that's the guy that the Diamondbacks are handing to the 9th inning. His last 2 times out has left us all a little uneasy. Very uneasy on Sunday, and I would say a little uneasy last night. And we joked in hour number 1 of the show that right now, I don't know how big the lead needs to be where I'm going to feel safe. Because even at 5-1 last night, I never felt truly comfortable that the Diamondbacks were going to get the outs that they needed to lock up the victory. It was the top of the 6th. It was still 2-1 at that point. And I'm doing the math. I'm thinking how many outs the Diamondbacks need. And I was worried that they were going to give that game away for Zac Gallen, who buckled down after a tough 3rd inning, only allowed the 1 run to cross, and was dominant the rest of the game. I was worried that they were going to give that game away. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Was still worried, still concerned that 4-1 wasn't enough. And that's just the truth. That's just the reality of where we sit with this bullpen. And you add on top of it that right now with the closer, do you feel that when that gate swings open and when Shelby Miller walks out to the mound as the closer, do you feel 100% confident or as confident as you could in a closer in today's baseball? Because there is no Trevor Hoffman. There is no Mariano Rivera. There is no Billy Wagner. There is no name your favorite closer from the old school. There is no guy that is 100% of the time going to go out there and be lights out, right? We think of Mariano Rivera, other than 2001, you think of a guy who was lights out. You think of a guy who always in the 9th inning took the ball, got 3 outs, right? Trevor Hoffman got the ball. You knew you were going to get 3 outs, right? We don't have that much in today's game.
I mean, the last couple that you would say were like closers. Josh Hader is
and
probably
even
the closest thing.
Even that guy, even Josh
that.
Hader hit a rough patch, and all of a sudden he was hittable. Edwin Diaz for a little bit, to the team that the Diamondbacks are playing, the Mets. Edwin Diaz in Seattle was lights out. His second year in New York was one of the best closers in the game. It just goes back and forth, though. There are years in between where you can't find it. You don't have that elite closer anymore, right? Emmanuel Clase, Devin Williams. Think of Devin Williams, the Brewers closer, who's now with the Yankees. Was lights out. Excellent. Couldn't be touched. Gets hit hard in the postseason.
Been really bad this year.
Has been bad since that moment. Got removed from the closer's role in New York. They traded for him in the offseason to lengthen their bullpen, to give themselves a shutdown closer. They are less than 40 games into the season. They have taken him out of the closer's role, and he had a blow up as the 8th inning guy this week. You don't have a shutdown closer anymore. But I wouldn't consider Shelby Miller close to a shutdown closer. So how confident are you when that gate swings open? You're probably not that confident. You're probably already on the edge of your seat. You're probably worried that, is this the day where he gives it up? Because it's not your traditional closer. It's not your number 1, number 2, or even your number 3 option going into the season. Yet here we are with Shelby Miller, the guy that this team trusts the most to handle these spots. And 2 of the last 3 times out, I don't know if he's passed that trust test. He certainly didn't on Sunday in Philadelphia. Last night was able to get the 3 outs, but did not make it easy on himself. Had to throw some very high leverage pitches in a game where he entered with a 5-1 lead. Shouldn't have gotten to that point. And that's where I become concerned. And if I'm concerned about Shelby Miller, I'm concerned about Kevin Ginkel. I'm concerned about Ryan Thompson. I'm concerned about Jalen Beeks. All of these guys throughout the course of this season have shown signs of having those blow-up innings. And so you just have a group right now, and Shelby Miller's at the top of the list just because he's the closer, where you go into the ballpark every night and you're just hoping that if you have a lead late, you're going to be able to hold on to it. We talk about insurance runs a lot of the time in baseball. I don't think there's a team that needs insurance runs more on a regular basis than the Diamondbacks. A 1-2 run lead, you're begging for those insurance runs. You're begging for it. Last week, Justin Martinez comes into a game against the Mets. They get some insurance in the top of the 9th inning to make it 4-1 instead of it being 2-1. The Mets get 2 runs in the bottom of the inning, and they lose 4-3. The Diamondbacks hold on and win the game. Why? Those 2 insurance runs that they got were critical. Insurance runs are going to be massive for this team. It means situational hitting. It means coming through with 2 outs. It means guy at third, less than 2 outs, hitting that sac fly, not trying to do too much. They're going to have to do the little things right. They just are, because they don't have a guy. They don't have an Emmanuel Clase. They don't have a Ryan Walker for the Giants. They don't have a Mason Miller for the A's. They don't have a guy that that door swings open, we got it. When the 9th inning rolls around in Sacramento, A's fans breathe a sigh of relief. Whew, Mason Miller's on the mound. We got this. The Diamondbacks don't have that. And so it is going to be a roller coaster for them every single night, every single day out there. And Shelby Miller just showed to you 2 of the last 3 times out that it is going to be a roller coaster for him as well. So I don't envy the spot that Torey Lovello is in on a very regular basis, because it's almost like just throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping that it works out. Last night, it did. You built up enough of a cushion. Shelby Miller was able to work out of the trouble that he put himself into. Now, Evan, do you want to respond? We have a comment over on the YouTube live stream. It's from our good friend Sean, our good buddy Sean. He has called you out for wearing a Diamondbacks hat today as a Philly as a Phillies fan, as a Phillies guy, since we're talking Diamondbacks here, I thought maybe that you would want to respond to this comment, that you would want to maybe have a retort, defend yourself. I don't think you need defending. When the two teams play, I know who you root for, just like me, New York guy. Mets are my team.
Yeah, I bought the hat when I moved here 5 years ago. It's kind of a nice hat.
I'm thinking. Was it yesterday? Was it Monday or was it yesterday's show where I said I was getting ready to pull out my credit card to spend $300+ on Serpiente's gear with the New City Connect jerseys? I think it was yesterday's show.
That was yesterday's show.
It was my hoodie, hat, jersey.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Why not?
Because in reality, I'm never going to root for them over the Phillies.
No. I'm neither will I. But like today, everybody should know where my rooting interests are. Today,
the alignment.
No alignment today.
Also, want to thank Sean. I've been growing out the flow, so I appreciate the in parentheses solid hair though.
No, he said solid hat though.
Oh,
he was giving you a shout out for the hat.
Oh, I thought he said hair.
No, was not giving you a
quick read.
It's fair.
But no, listen. I just think that I own this hat. It feels appropriate for the show, and they're playing the Mets today. And I'm sorry, Chris, but
yeah, no, you're going to take every chance.
I'm in a division race.
Yeah, you're going to take every chance you can to root against me and to try to dunk on me. So yeah, I mean that happened in the pre-show. You did it. You're wearing the hat now. I get it. I understand. Not.
How did I dunk on you in the pre-show?
We were talking about Chase Utley.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I stand by that. Ruben Tejada was horrible, and Wilmer Flores was far better. You don't get to the NLCS or World Series without Wilmer. So Chase Utley, you're welcome.
I'm just going to leave that where it was. That was a pre-show conversation that I knew what you were doing in the pre-show, and I didn't take the bait, and I'm not going to take the bait now. I'm not going to get into this back and forth with you. I'm just not. 25 minutes from now, the Diamondbacks will be back in action. That'll maybe be our topic of conversation during the leftovers if anything happens in that 20-minute span. But Merrill Kelly on the mound for the Diamondbacks as they look to win the series. They look to win the season series against the Mets in the finale before starting a series with the Dodgers. This gauntlet continues for this team. We told you about these 16 games so far for the Diamondbacks. It is a 4-4 record in the first 8 games of this 16-game stretch. So they're halfway home, 4-4, treading water. Hovering around 500, but you'd love to win today to start to maybe build some momentum going into a really important series with the Dodgers. And then on the other side of that, a really important series with the San Francisco Giants. When we come back, did we get the sense that the Suns roster next season will be any different? That's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Find mom's best gift at Target. Now through Mother's Day, get up to 40% off gifts for her. Discover trendy apparel and swimwear that'll elevate any wardrobe. Jewelry that'll make her smile shine brighter, and even chocolate that'll turn any moment into something sweeter. There are endless options to choose from to show her she's the best. Hurry! Save 20 to 40% on select apparel, jewelry, chocolates, and more this Mother's Day only at Target. Restrictions apply.
9 Inch Nails. Live at Footprint Center, September 16th. Get tickets now at NIN.com. 9 Inch Nails, live in Phoenix. Peel It Back World Tour 2025. You got the paint job, but now you need the materials fast. Get free same-day or next-day delivery on select PPG paints from the Home Depot. Now that's a pro move. Save time on store runs and get free delivery on small or large orders of select items. Save energy shopping around with PPG's wide assortment of colors and finishes all in one place. And save money with Pro Extra, where you can get up to 20% off paints, primers, and stains through Paint Rewards. The Home Depot, how pros get more done.
Hey, Mike Barrow from Barrow's Pizza here. The way we see it, family isn't just a cherished thing, it's everything. For us, that starts with our Grandma Angelina's family recipes brought over from Sarconi, Italy, like our sweet and tangy pizza sauce, 100% real mozzarella, and our fresh dough made every morning. And because every Barrow's is family-owned, never franchised, we personally make sure the quality's there at every location. So stop in and give Barrow's Pizza a try. It's authentic food from our family to yours.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. We love the underdog story in sports. The surprise team that sneaks up on everybody and makes a run. But at some point, you have to stop calling them a surprise and start calling them for what they really are. Contenders. And the Pacers might be at that point. They're up 2-0 on the top-seeded Cavs, and yes, Cleveland was shorthanded last night, and that does matter. But this isn't just about one series. Indiana has a star in Tyrese Halliburton and a proven playoff performer in Pascal Siakam, and a head coach, Rick Carlisle, who's been there and done that before. This team has already made a run to a conference finals before, and they might be better than they were when they did it the last time. The Pacers play fast, they play together, and they have the kind of versatility that will give teams headaches in the playoffs. They're not just surviving, they're asserting themselves. And if Indiana can keep it up, might be time to retire that nice little story label in Indianapolis, because the Pacers aren't just here to compete, they're here to win. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You ever go car shopping and just walk back to your old car and say, you know what, you're not so bad. Maybe a new paint job, maybe fix up those dents and dings. New car prices are going crazy now. Interest rates, prices, everything is up. Mako can make your current ride look like new. Paint touch-ups, dent repairs, fresh bumper. It's a little like a car makeover is what it is. And right now, they got the spring specials going. Perfect time to get in. You get that free estimate. Quick turnaround, by the way. Real value. That's what Mako does. And we're keeping our cars longer. So make your current ride feel new again. Before you shell out for something new, make your old look new. Go to Mako.com today. You'll find a shop near you and book an appointment. You're going to get a free estimate. You're going to love the community-based feel you get with Mako. That's Mako, MAACO.com. And remember, better get Mako.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and on the KTUS 1060 app.
We have been reacting to all throughout the course of the show today Brian Gregory's introductory press conference as the new general manager for the Phoenix Suns. We've talked about
the alignment.
Talked about that. We've talked about what he wants in a new head coach. We talked about our overall feeling from this press conference, one of somebody that did not look like they were prepared to be a general manager in the NBA, I think was our main takeaway from what we saw yesterday. But there were some comments that emerged that were somewhat concerning, somewhat alarming about what roster moves may actually be accomplished this summer. Because Brian Gregory was asked about this roster, and he said, quote, right now, I think we've got a pretty talented roster, end quote. He added, what we have not been able to do is create the environment or figure out the combinations that give us the best opportunity for that talented roster to perform even better. How about one more for you before we react? Quote, there's a baseline and foundation of talent that can put us in a good position moving forward, end quote. Did that sound like somebody who was in a rush to waive Bradley Beal? Did that sound like somebody who's in a rush to trade Kevin Durant, to trade Grayson Allen, to trade Royce O'Neal? did it sound like somebody who thinks that what this roster needs is a complete makeover? Because that is what this roster needs, right? We all watched the same basketball team last season, right, Brian? We watched a team that did not have grittiness, that did not have toughness, that did not have the defensive intensity, didn't have the things that you talked about this team needing to have moving forward. So you can't run it back with the same roster that you have right now because these guys didn't have those things. These guys,
The alignment.
were not aligned with the identity that you're trying to build. But when I hear that we have a pretty talented roster, do you? And I think the bigger concern than that is, does that mean you like this roster? Does that mean you're comfortable with this roster? Is there a baseline and foundation of talent? Yes. Devin Booker, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro. That's it. If you are talking about this team and that there's a baseline and a foundation of talent that you think can what? Quote, put us in a good position moving forward. If it's those three guys and those three guys only, we are in lockstep, Brian. You know what? We're not just in lockstep. You know what we are?
The alignment.
We are aligned together, if that's what you mean. If you mean those three players, then we are on the same page. But if you mean to tell me that Kevin Durant may not be going anywhere this summer, that you're not going to potentially try to move Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen for picks, that you are not going to have, this roster needs a major overhaul. It needs to look extremely different than last year's version. It cannot look the same. You cannot run it back. But guess what? Those three quotes that I read from yesterday make me concerned that there may be some level of running it back. What we have not been able to do is create the environment or figure out the combinations that give us the best opportunity for that talented roster to perform even better. Does that sound like a guy who's trading Kevin Durant? Does that sound like a guy who's trying to move on from Bradley Beal? Now, hopefully, again, we get to those places and we forget all about this. But that wasn't the feel that I got from that answer yesterday.
I texted you while watching this, like, oh my God, are they not going to move on from this roster? It had the feel of, we're going to run it back. We're going to change the identity. We're going to change the culture under a new head coach, but we love the players we have.
You can't change the identity of your basketball team. You cannot overhaul your culture if you keep the same people around. James Jones technically isn't going anywhere. He's a senior advisor. Brian Gregory was a part of this organization the last 2 years, was a consultant 2 years ago. Last year was the VP of player programming. Josh Bartelstein remaining as the CEO, according to Brian Gregory, is going to continue to be involved in basketball operations. The only thing right now, honestly, the only thing right now you've changed about this team is you got rid of the coach. That's it. It's the only thing you've done. That is the only thing you've done in pursuit of this new alignment, in this new vision, in this new identity, is the only thing you've done. And yesterday, yes, you texted me at one point, and I'll read it from our thread. I don't know what to think. It feels like they left the door open to try and run it back. I got the same feeling yesterday. And I hope I'm wrong about that. Just like I hope I'm wrong about the sentiment that I have coming out of this press conference. I hope that this was just a guy who is still getting used to a brand new role and doesn't really know how to answer questions about what he's looking for in a coach or about his experience, because that was one of his worst answers, defending his lack of experience. And the answer and relying on
the alignment
and talking about how talented the roster is, right? He had some good answers. I thought his answer about Devin Booker was great. I thought his answer about how he wants to emulate other teams and what they do and how there's a right way to do things. I like that answer quite a bit. So there were things that I liked yesterday. And so maybe it is just a guy who's brand new to this role, who doesn't know how to non-answer what you're doing with Kevin Durant, what you're doing with Bradley Beal, and doesn't know how to say that other than saying
the alignment
and just talking guys up and saying that you have a talented roster. Maybe he's just not used to having GM speak yet. Okay, that's best case scenario. But you presented us with a vision, with a new general manager, of somebody who's never sat in that chair before. He's never done it. He's never made a trade. He's never overseen an entire draft. He's never gone through a free agency period. And so yesterday was our first chance to not just read about Brian Gregory in a Wikipedia page, but to hear from Brian Gregory, to hear what he is about, to hear what he wants this team to look like. And I don't know if I learned anything yesterday that makes me feel better about this. In fact, there are little breadcrumbs that were left that make me go, are we going to be 6 months down the road and not have the major changes that we were expecting, that we think are required? Or are we going to get 6 months down the road and say, man, we should have picked up on that. We should have picked up on this is a really talented roster. And where we went wrong was just the opportunities that we put in front of them, not the right combinations. But we've got a talented roster. We've got a great foundation here. Was that a breadcrumb that we were supposed to follow? And so that's why I'm bringing it up here today, so that 6 months from now, 3 months from now, we can say, all right, we followed that breadcrumb, it was wrong. Or we followed that breadcrumb and we were spot on. But that was my takeaway from yesterday, is that I would have expected, without saying it, that the door of running it back to be slammed shut. And while I think, sitting here today on May 7th, that if you had to ask me, if I had to predict, I do think that that door is closed. I do not think they are going to run it back. But I cannot tell you, after hearing what I heard yesterday, that that door isn't at least slightly open. That door is not closed and locked. Certainly not closed and locked after what I heard yesterday. That door remains open. And until they close it, that should be a concern that all of us have. We should be concerned that they left that door open yesterday. We should be concerned that Brian Gregory kind of just echoed a lot of the stuff that Matt Ishbia was already talking about and just sounded like he was you used the term placeholder, but just figurehead for Matt Ishbia. That he is just a spokesperson for Matt Ishbia, and Matt is really the one pulling all the strings, making all of the decisions, and this is just going to be what he wants this team to look like this offseason. Didn't shy away from Josh Bartelstein being involved. Didn't shy away from Matt Ishbia being involved. Talked about how the reason why he is here, one of the reasons why he is here, and he is not shying away from it, is I have a relationship with Matt Ishbia. So hopefully, now that this press conference is in the rearview mirror, Brian Gregory can follow through on building that alignment. He can follow through on finding that head coach. He said it's his main focus, did not put a timetable on it, said he was casting a wide net. All good things. All things I can get on board with. There is no rush. Make sure you get the best candidate. Cast a wide net. Talk to everybody, even if it's somebody that you're not sure about. Sit down with that person. Pick their brain. See what they think about the Phoenix Suns. He gave you qualities that he's looking for. An unbelievable basketball IQ. A tremendous communicator. These are his words and phrases, not mine. Shared vision. And he said that not just the ability to say to Matt Ishbia and to Brian Gregory the things that they have been saying in their press conference, that you have a proven track record of doing the things that align with this vision. And he added in the ability to hold the players accountable. If they check all of those boxes and who they get as their next head coach, then I'm going to be excited about who they get as their next head coach. They are going to, at least in their first test, their first actionable item here, they are going to show us that they can do the right things, that they can set the right course. Again, yesterday was about words. Yesterday is not going to make or break Brian Gregory's ability to succeed in this role, but it was just a not great first impression for a guy who, let's face it, everybody was already uneasy about. Everybody already judged the book just based on the cover. And yesterday reinforced that judgment that people were passing. And so you can change it. You can make people say, my first impression was this, but I was wrong. You can get to that point. You have to nail the head coaching hire. You have to get this right in the summer, and you have to have a roster that looks different enough. If you run back a very similar roster, if there aren't major changes, nobody is going to believe that the culture changed. Nobody is going to believe that the identity changed. Nobody is going to believe that this team is actually different from the team they were a year ago. So uninspiring, I think, is a fair word to use to describe it. An uninspiring press conference yesterday. Now we'll see if the actions can change our opinion, because the words certainly didn't yesterday. When we come back, how about a list? 5 reasons to be optimistic about the Cardinals in 2025. We'll put together the list next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
No, Mr. Nice Guy.
The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
You wanted to see me, Ron?
Yeah. See that woman sitting there? When did we hire her?
Oh, we didn't hire her. It's Take Your Mom to Work Day.
I've never heard of that.
Saw it on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, guys. It's neat that Gary has a mom and all, but shouldn't we be talking about Alaskifications?
That's why I brought Mom in.
I'm sure she's a lovely lady, but she can't promise a 1-year no breakdown guarantee the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't promise lower energy bills the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope.
And she doesn't make sure people's air conditioner lasts longer than average the way Alaskan AC does.
Nope. But she sings.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Wow.
Double wow.
Thanks, Mom.
Anything for the president of the company. How long have you two boys worked for Gary?
Gary!
Hey, gotta go. Promise to take Mom to lunch. Bye.
If you want your AC to last all summer long, with an Alaskification, it will always blow strong.
Schedule now at alaskanac.com.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
They will resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-837-PAIN. That's 602-837-PAIN. 602-837-PAIN.
Now through May 13th, stock up for spring celebrations at AJ's 25% off Rosé and Bubbly sale. Celebrate the season with refreshing sips, perfect for Mother's Day brunch, backyard gatherings, or simply enjoying the Arizona sunset. For a limited time, save 25% when you mix and match 6 or more 750 milliliter bottles from our curated selection of rosés and sparkling wines. It's now through May 13th, only at AJ's.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
We haven't done one of these in a little bit. Good old-fashioned list. Read a story today in CBS Sports giving one reason of optimism for the Cardinals in 2025, and I was intrigued by what they listed as the reason for optimism for the Cardinals. They focused on Marvin Harrison Jr. and a year two jump. A looming year two jump from Marvin Harrison Jr. So we thought, why don't we break out a list? And it's been a while. I need to make sure that the button still works here on the tablet. But since we're putting together a list, since we're talking about football, producer Evan has not heard this. Now, the P1s know what's coming. The P1s know what music is about to be played since we're talking football. Just get ready, because during the football season, we play this Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I think, are the 3 days that we bust this out. Tell me that immediately when I push this button, you aren't ready to watch some football. Okay? I need to make sure. Hold on. I messed it up. I had it on the wrong button. You're ready to run through a wall. You're ready.
Yeah, let's go.
You're like, you know
Let's
what?
go.
I don't care if it counts. Give me a preseason game today. The moment you hear this music, you are ready for football. So this is the music that we play when we recap stuff on Mondays, when I give out my picks on Fridays. We go to this too. It is a crutch. I will be fully transparent about it, but it's because I just love the song so much. It just gets you ready for football.
I love it.
So since we're making a list and we're talking about football, yeah, you betcha I'm playing the NFL music. So all right, we're gonna tag team this. We're gonna put together one show list. 5 reasons for optimism for the Cardinals in 2025. And I think it's important that we do this 1 to 5, 1 being the reason for most optimism, and then scale it that way. So this is not just a random 5. The order matters here. I want to nominate something for the number 1 spot. Okay? The defensive overhaul this offseason, I think, is the principal point of optimism for this team. Because
that's what I had.
Last year, all season long, could this defense hold up? Could this defense do enough? Could they get enough pressure on the quarterback? And we knew the answer, right? We asked those questions, but we knew the answer. We were asking the questions because we were concerned. I don't think there's that concern anymore. You add Josh Sweat, a year 2 for Darius Robinson. You had Walter Nolan in the draft. You signed Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson for the interior of that defensive line. You have completely reworked this group. And oh, by the way, you stole Will Johnson at the 47th pick in the NFL draft to just add to your corner room. So the defense that was, I think, everybody's main concern going into last season and everybody's main area of improvement this season, they did it. They improved it. It is a better group. And so if there's a reason why you think what they did last year, that they're going to improve on it, that they're going to be better, that they're going to break through and make the playoffs, number 1 for me, no questions asked, the defensive improvement for this team.
Specifically, I had the improvement up front.
Yeah.
Sweat, Tomlinson, Walter Nolan was who I put at 1 on my list. But adding Will Johnson in there, I certainly agree with. And I think that is the most exciting part of what this team is going to be this year.
Just a group that has veterans. You know the production you're going to get. It's just better. There aren't any weak spots where you go, that's going to be a problem. You have veteran players. You hope that they stay healthy. You hope that it gels quickly, right? There are things to point to that maybe lead to a slow start, but I don't have concerns that they're not going to have the depth, that they don't have the raw talent, right? If you look at them on paper, you look at the Cardinals on paper defensively, and it is just a better group across the board. All right, do you want to nominate something?
For 2, I will take the second-year jump for Marvin Harrison.
So you want
what I was going to nominate at 2.
You want to put this in the 2 spot?
Yeah. I was back and forth on 2 and 3, if you want to hear both.
Can I throw out what I want to nominate as number 2? Maybe it is your number 3? Because I don't know your list. You don't know my list.
Yeah.
You have a top 3 tight end in the NFL? Like,
my
reason for optimism.
I had that at 4 just because there's no big change.
It doesn't matter. He's a top 3 tight end in the NFL. If I'm looking for optimism, you have somebody that most teams don't have an answer for. You have somebody in Trey McBride that other teams don't have their version of when you face them. It is a mismatch every single week.
I don't hate it at 2.
Games,
I had it at 4.
18 weeks. Trey McBride is a mismatch. He's a problem. That's a difference maker. And for an offense that we're still hoping that Marv becomes that difference maker, my reason for optimism, there's a relationship there with Kyler. They're on the same page. I don't worry about them, having a slow start. And so, yeah, it's just one player. But, man, Trey McBride being a top 3 tight end and getting paid and not having to worry about all of that, I would like to nominate that. But, hey, you can share the rest of yours and we can order this correctly.
So 2, I had the second-year jump for Marvin Harrison.
Okay. Definitely going to be on the list at some point. I just don't know if it'll be at 2.
3rd, I had third year is Gannon as the head coach. You've seen improvements in each of the first 2 years, and now you need to make that next step forward, and I think that there's a little bit of optimism there.
It's a continuity argument. A reason for optimism is there's no change in your coaching staff. Yeah, you lost a couple of assistants to other places, but offensive coordinator still here, defensive coordinator still here, same head coach, same philosophy, no real major changes. And normally that's a bad thing when you say it, but it's actually a good thing in this case, right? Everybody knows on this roster what the expectation is. They know because the head coach has been there for a couple of years. Budda Baker, as a leader, knows what is being asked of him. James Conner, Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr. on offense, all of these guys, they know what is expected of them. They're not learning a new offense. They're going to add stuff to their plate. They're going to add to the offense to make it better, but you're not bringing in somebody completely new that has got a whole new system and new verbiage and you don't have any of that. And so that continuity is actually an excellent thing. Love that. I want to make that number 2.
Okay.
I want to make that number 2 because continuity matters when you're trying to make that jump from fringe playoff team, haven't been in the playoffs in the last couple of years, to breaking through. That continuity of you don't have a new coach and it's going to take a little bit for everybody to get on the same page. No, this team is going to hit the ground running and they're going to hopefully pick up right where they left off. Not necessarily with the last couple of games, but an 8-win season, doubling their win total, playing good football.
And Chris, do you know what happens in year 3?
What happens in year 3?
alignment.
Oh, you know what? I hadn't considered that the alignment happens in year 3. That's right. That's right. The alignment does happen in year 3. Great call by you. So I want to make that number 2. So now we have candidates for the rest of the list. We have Marv, year 2 jump, reason for optimism. Trey McBride as a top 3 tight end. Anything else that you want to nominate before I may throw something in?
And this is for number 2?
This is, no.
Strictly?
Number 1 is defensive overhaul. Number 2 is continuity with the coaching. We're talking 3, 4, and 5. We have 2 candidates right now, so we have an open spot.
Okay, I have one more that I don't actually know if counts. I put it with an asterisk.
Well, I love this.
And we talked about it. We did a whole segment on it. The possible addition of a veteran wide receiver to help Marv.
If they do that, yes, let's put it on the list, right? If they add a wide receiver, I would put on this list that there's no more built-in excuses for Kyler, right? And that's a great thing. Now, shout out to our guy, Sean, who I think has something that is worth discussing. He says, can I throw in the fact that the division has taken a step backwards across the board? 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, all losing impact pieces, not the top-heavy division it has been in the last 6 to 7 years. I think this is an excellent point, and it is worthy of discussion, right? The Seahawks, a team that traded their quarterback away. Yes, they signed Sam Darnold, but that's going to take time to gel, right? The Rams, as long as they have Matt Stafford, they're going to be good enough, but are they scary? Are you afraid of them? I'll tell you what, the team that's been the big bad wolf of this division for the last half decade, I'm not scared of the 49ers.
I feel like the Niners have rolled over, and the Rams continue to get older. I don't care what people say, they continue to get older.
They're getting younger on defense, which
I know
is
they
important.
got younger on defense, but the quarterback, and listen, I'm the biggest Stafford fan out of them all, but eventually you're going to have to see some kind of regression.
Yeah, this is not a division where you look at it and you go, I'm scared of playing San Francisco twice a year. I'm scared of playing the Rams twice a year. Are they going to be tough, competitive games? Yes, you're going to have to earn wins against those teams. But am I scared of those teams? Is that like going to Kansas City to play the Chiefs? Is it like going to Buffalo to face the Bills? Is it like going to Philadelphia to face the Eagles? The Lions in Detroit? Is it like facing any of those teams? Absolutely not. So let's put that on the list as well. So we've got 3, 4, and 5. We've got our 3 candidates. We have the year 2 jump for Marv. We'll put that at 5 because there's some projection there. We'll put that at 5. We have the division being a little underwhelming. I think that's a good thing for number 3. And then number 4, Trey McBride being a top 3 tight end.
Love it.
So our 5 reasons to be optimistic about the Cardinals in 2025. Number 1, the defensive improvement. Number 2, the continuity with the coaching staff. Number 3, a weaker division compared to recent memory. Number 4, Trey McBride is a top 3 tight end and a real mismatch and difference maker. And number 5, the expected year 2 jump for Marvin Harrison Jr. and what it could mean for this offense. Boy, was it nice to play that music. Boy, was it nice to put together a list. Maybe we'll do that more moving forward here on the program. But we've got one more here for you. The Diamondbacks in action. That game has gotten underway. We've got the leftovers here on the other side of the break, all the things that we didn't get to throughout the course of the program, and we'll keep you updated on the Diamondbacks and Mets in the finale of that series. We'll do it next. KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost Theatrical Heavy Metal Arena Rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
Hey, it's Austin Clark, owner of Moxie Pest Control. Did you know there's over 1,000 pest control companies in Arizona? So why is Moxie the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona? Because at Moxie, we put people first, and we believe in paying it forward. That means kindness every time. It means showing up on time, going the extra mile, and treating your home like it's our own. And by taking a little extra time in our service, we make a few friends along the way. Our field experts are the kind of people you'll feel good having around your spouse, your kids, and your pets. Yes, we've trained them to solve pest problems better, but also to care more, smile more, and earn your trust at every visit. We offer same-day services in most cases, and we'll even give you 50% off your first service when you call. Call 888-MOXIE-10. That's 888-MOXIE-10. Moxie Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Join ASU Baseball right here on KDUS AM 1060. Starting this Friday, the next opponent in the Sun Devils' sights is the University of Houston. As the end of the regular season approaches, ASU knows that every win counts, and they look to give it their all against the Cougars. The voice of the Sun Devils, Tim Healy, will have the call live. It's ASU versus the University of Houston this Friday. Pregame at 6:15 p.m. and first pitch at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com/Sun Devils.
Quick first inning for Merrill Kelly. 10 pitches, 3 outs. Good start. Diamondbacks are batting in the bottom part of the first inning. Keep you updated on anything important that may happen while we are still here with you on the lunch break. But it is time for the leftovers. All the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the show. So this is where we hand things off to the producer of the program. I have no idea what is coming next. So producer Evan, the show is all yours. Take it away.
All right, I'm going to get some backlash for this first one.
Okay, I'm a little concerned. Have your hand near the dump button, I guess.
The Utah hockey team officially released
Yeah.
their new team name and jerseys. They're going to be the Utah Mammoths, and the jerseys are awesome.
I don't think there's an S. I think they're just the Utah Mammoth.
The Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth.
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't know how it works with the
Somehow
plural.
that's better.
But I think when I saw this morning, it was just the Utah Mammoth.
I'll be honest with you. When
Okay.
the Mammoth play the Sabres, that's going to be an Ice Age battle. You don't have any comment?
No,
on that?
I really don't. That was a very dad joke of you, and you're younger than me. That was tough. Yeah, I mean, you are going to probably get some heat for mentioning the Utah team that left here. You know, no longer the Arizona Coyotes. They were the Utah Hockey Club for a year, and now they are the Utah Mammoth. I like the jerseys;
they're awesome.
I like the
color
logo.
scheme is awesome.
Yeah,
the jersey is awesome. I'll give them credit.
It sounds like we're in the minority, though. To be honest with you.
Oh, really?
I saw some people in social media or on social media who are in the hockey space that were not a fan. I like them though.
I feel like this is a name I've heard rumored. Like,
There was a story a couple of weeks ago. I forget exactly what it was, but it leaked in some way that they were going to be called the Mammoth. So this was not a surprise that it was the name because it got leaked a couple of weeks ago. I forget how, if it was a trademark or something got leaked where the name was released to everybody. But now they made it official and they had the jersey reveal and now they can be the Utah Mammoth and they're not the Utah Hockey Club anymore.
Corbin Carroll just got thrown out, stealing a bag.
Not the update I'm looking for. Not the update I'm looking for.
George Pickens got traded to the Cowboys today. Just feels like a Cowboys move.
I like this move. I like this move for the Cowboys. They needed it. They needed somebody to help CeeDee Lamb. Their offense was very much CeeDee Lamb or bust in the passing game. And while I think CeeDee can be productive no matter what, it does help that defenses are now going to have to respect another element to this offense because if you leave George Pickens open, that's not going to be a good day for you. Like it's going to be a disaster. So you're going to have to respect both corners or both receivers, I should say. And so now the Cowboys, they gave up a lot for him, a third and a fifth, I think. They got a 6th round pick back, probably going to pay him, going to sign him up long term. They got CeeDee under contract, so that's who they're going to surround Dak with. And I don't mind it. I get it from Pittsburgh's perspective. I was talking with the resident Steelers fan in the building, John Holmberg of the morning show down at KUPD, and he was all on board with this. He was like, I love it. He goes, they were never going to pay 2 receivers. They weren't going to pull the Bengals. They got some picks back, and now they can just move forward and have DK and bring in Rodgers and away they go. So
they got a third. Like it wasn't a horrible return.
They gave up a 2 for DK, so they basically
moved back around
to get DK Metcalf.
Swap.
You take that?
You would take that.
You would take that swap.
Okay. Last one, kind of a crazy game last night. I don't know if you saw this game. So the Giants and the Cubs went to extra innings because the Cubs tied it up in the 9th.
Yeah, the Giants are still scoring in the top of the 11th inning.
And then they could not. You look at this box score. So I was watching the 9th, then turned the game off and kind of was doing stuff around my house. Then went back and on MLB.com, you can watch like all the game highlights.
Yeah.
And I just see the score of 14-5. I was like, was I watching a rerun? And you're like, you see 14-5 in the 11th. It's a jarring box score.
A 9-run 11th inning for the Giants, and they win 14-5 over the Chicago Cubs. And yeah, I mean, they blew it in the bottom of the 9th. The Cubs rallied for 2 in the bottom of the 9th to send it to extras. They went scoreless in the 10th, and then it was a 9-run 11th inning that put the Giants in front. How many people came to bat in the 9th, in the 11th inning in the 9-run 11th? Let me try to see if I can count up how many. They had 9 runs on 6 hits and no errors. Just an insane 9-run inning that led the Giants to their win. They've been playing some good baseball, 23-14 so far this season.
Another interesting little story. So now that we are through all game ones of the NBA playoffs, the away team has won all game ones.
Yeah, Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton did it again last night.
So they're up 2-0. That's the only one that's played 2.
Yeah, they're up 2-0. They beat Cleveland both times in Cleveland. Golden State, even though they lost Steph for this game, during this game, they will not have him for game 2. They were able to hold on and beat the Timberwolves. I don't know if that result would be the same now that the Timberwolves are going to be able to prepare for no Steph Curry and the Warriors. I think that's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for them. But you have playoff Jimmy. Buddy Hield's been playing great. They still have Draymond, so I'm not going to count the Warriors out. I think they have the playoff pedigree to be able to make this probably more competitive than you would immediately think if Steph's going to miss some serious time. And it's the first time he's dealt with a muscle strain at all in his career. So guy that old dealing with it for the first time, you just don't know. And Shams Charania pointed that on Twitter. You just don't know how long the rehab is going to be. It's the playoffs, so he's probably going to push to be back sooner rather than later, but will not play. They've already ruled him out for game 2. The Knicks, they go into Boston. They come back from being down 20. The Celtics missed 45 3-pointers in that game. Just an ugly performance in the second half by them. And then the Nuggets, they do what they did against the Thunder in the first game of that series. And I think if you looked at it before the series started, you would have picked Oklahoma City. You would have picked Cleveland. You would have picked, I don't know if you would have picked Minnesota over Golden State with Steph healthy. It might have been close, but you would have picked Boston, and all 3 of those teams lost in game 1. So interesting start too. It has been chaotic to start the semifinal round of the NBA playoffs.
It has been. It's been fun, actually.
It's been a blast.
I've been, I'm an avid kind of NHL playoffs over NBA playoffs, and I still think that's true. But the NBA playoffs have been very entertaining.
Specifically, the start to this round.
Yeah.
They've been very chaotic. I mean, you have...
that Cavs-Pacers game last night was all-time awesome.
Yeah, let me see if I can remember these all off the top of my head. Game 1, Boston, New York, came down to the wire, went to overtime. Game 1 of Thunder Nuggets was a close game down to the final couple of possessions. Indiana, I don't remember the first game specifically, but game 2 came down to the wire. So you've had a bunch of these games. I mean, we've had what?
And even in the morning meeting, you said last night, like Warriors, Timberwolves is interesting that they won without Steph.
Right.
And the game isn't as close, but it's an interesting storyline in there.
Yeah, it is just we've had 5 games so far in this round of the playoffs.
5 games. 4 of the 5 of them,
4 of the 5 of them, I think, have been close down to the wire, down to the last couple possessions within a minute, final 15, 20 seconds. And that's what you want if you're the NBA. You want that drama late, and they've had it in a big way. So, yeah, we're keeping an eye on the NBA playoffs here. The Suns aren't participating. Brian Gregory should turn on these games, see what it looks like.
Well, next year, after these big changes and everything they do, and once they
The alignment.
get aligned, we're gonna be right here next year.
I could feel the sarcasm in that answer. I could feel it. That's going to do it for us here on this edition of the show. Jim Rome is coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.